latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you guys a bit of a video review on a product from Outdoor Revolution. So with me today I've got the Outdoor Revolution Cayman Tail F/G, or basically tailgate kind of awning. Now essentially what it almost is basically they do a poled kind of Cayman, and they've made one particularly just designed for the back of a vehicle. So it's got quite a broad spectrum of terms of fit. So really from a vehicle height you can attach it up to, it starts about a 180 and goes up to 240. So necessarily means when you're on the lower end of the bracket, it maybe doesn't look as probably pretty as it may do, but you've got the flexibility to go for taller vehicles, so like Ducato style vans, not just sort of Ford Transit or kind of VW kind of models. It's basically, it's almost just like I said, just an alternative one of model, and there's no reason really why you couldn't fit this on the side of a van, not only on the back. The only thing I would say is when it's on the side, because the connection tunnel is only about 190, you wouldn't necessarily struggle to open the sliding door. But if you've got like a caddy van, it potentially would work. Just the fit may be a bit questionable when you're on that bottom end of the bracket. But it's really designed for the back of the awning like we have here, and it fits really quite nice and snugly. The main body itself is 2.5 meters by 2.5 meters, and then you've got a tunnel section on top of that. What material they're using is basically their 120 HDE fabric from Outdoor Rev. It's about 70 denier, 3000 mil hydrostatic head, so very waterproof and also quite durable. We've got fiberglass poles which cross over to give you a nice sturdy structure, lightweight in terms of pack size, but also, you know, got a pre-angle joint to give the interior height a bit more rather than this general curve. You've got a brow canopy pole as well, so this is a rain-safe door in and out of the actual awning itself. It means that you can leave it open and not have to worry about water coming down, dripping straight directly into the ground sheet, which is physically sewn in. You've got almost an entranceway from all 4 angles, so you can either go in from the side, in from the other side, or directly into the back. And the joys of this is that each panel completely opens up, so it creates almost like a gazebo. So if you really wanted almost like a big open plan, you remove the sort of unroll that panel, unroll the front on that. You've almost got a roof section, so when you kind of have your kind of barn doors or sort of proper tailgate awning up, it quite happily accommodates that. The tunnel depth is quite a decent size, so even if you're using kind of tailgate, you should more than happily be able to fit it in there. Barn doors, really, it will still perfectly fit, and that's what I've got on my vehicle here with me now. The only thing I'll say is when you open it, you've got to be careful it doesn't necessarily scrape along the top too much. And mainly I've got like a roof rack on mine, so there's a bit better clearance from that point of view. We've got obviously guide points as well to get great tension when we want to, clip poles so it keeps the fabric nice and taut to the pole itself, and it makes feeding it in a lot easier. You can see our own Attwoolls pitching and packing video. I picked this model up on my own in about 11-12 minutes, which makes it sort of ideal for going away for shorter spells, as well as those longer ones as well. One thing to mention as well, even though it sort of kind of looks like it would be able to, unfortunately it cannot take an annex. So what you see is how it is pretty much, but it would also create a bit of an odd shape if it did. Other things to sort of talk about is as we kind of roll back the sort of side door here, we've got almost like a mesh panel directly built into it. So we can have that as a bit of airflow. I'll just peg it a second. So we can roll that back, get a bit of ventilation into the awning, as you can see. So that's your main kind of bug kind of free door. We've got beautiful crystal clear windows next to it as well, and that's situated around the whole awning, so you can get great visibility into the actual awning itself. But then you've got curtains located behind to kind of get the privacy as and when you wanted to. The whole kind of, like I said, panel can roll back, so that goes from left, so from back to the kind of the front of the awning, and it's sort of it's the same way all the way around. The tunnel section itself has the ability to kind of been adapted. All I've done is thrown it over the top, guide it back, just giving it torsion away. The main body, because it's kind of like a dome structure, will kind of support itself anyway. And then we've got 2 tunnel doors on either side, so we can access the vehicle without going through the awning every single time. Webbing adjustment straps here allow you to take up the slack quite nice and neatly, as well as a elasticated cord to try and get this tunnel section looking quite sharp, as giving you properly access this door. There's not only a clip at the back, but a clip midway as well to kind of bunch this excess fabric up. And actually, they've also attached kind of a double beading cater strip onto the awning as well. So that way, if you want to feed into the side of an awning onto a rail, or if you've got a rail system on the back, you can also do that as well. There's actually also a sleeve, I believe, for a pole and clamp kit. So again, if you've got a kind of gutter on the back or on the side, you can again have the multifunctional of putting it either side. I'll tell you what, let's have a little sort of turn the camera around, face directly down kind of the awning, and have a look what else that the Cayman sort of tail has to offer. So now we're kind of inside the tail, you've got a bit more of sort of like a sort of bullet eye view of what we're looking at here. Now the front panels, as you can see here, have additional big windows in the front. You've also got the ability to kind of drop this front panel down and create a little bit of airflow directly into the awning itself, which works really quite nicely. Failing that, you've got a little retaining clip to keep it in place. The door can move either from from right to left. So as we're looking at my side, so you can have the door kind of half open. That can then roll back and toggle nice and neatly. Failing that, you can open up completely. And then it kind of shows you a bit more of the interior as well. So this point here can toggles at the bottom. But then we'll just roll that back and do a little bit of a kind of a rest job. And then that sort of exposes kind of the space we've got inside. Like I said, it's nice it's being kind of perfectly square, makes it quite easy to pitch as well. The front lip here, you sort of can toggle up or toggle down, so you can obviously get that flat entrance directly into the mono. And that's the same with all the sides. So as you see, kind of that side goes back, and that side goes back. So like I said, you can have that drop down thing, so it works really smartly as well. There's a good amount of height in here because of kind of the dome section. Admittedly, with a pre-angled joint in the corners, it's not too far. I'm a little bit further away from everything, but me being about 6'2" can stand up in here quite happily, no problem at all. The back section, as we see it here, is kind of that's the tunnel side. And again, this door will roll kind of from left to right or right to left, depending on how you want to use it. So if, for example, you've got, say, like barn doors like I have, what you can almost do is kind of imitate the same scenario. So kind of roll this section back here. That'll toggle in place, and then you can obviously have that as kind of your entranceway in and out of the awning, and then it all creates a little bit of a storage section down here to the right. Failing that, of course, you can open it fully up, and you've got this really nice big mesh panel built into the top section as well to allow airflow into the awning as well. Little retaining clips keep it nice and neatly. Actually, just to be fair, no, it only rolls from one side, which, to be fair, is probably a better shout anyway, because most doors, if they are kind of barn doors like I've got, typically the one that opens first is that right hand side, so that actually is quite a little nice thing really. As we've kind of seen, it's nice and open in here. You can buy an additional 2-berth bedroom that can go in here. It will take up pretty much the whole space internally, but it gives you the ability to sleep an additional guest in here if you truly wish to. The curtains, like I said, can either sort of basically toggle up halfway or fully up to top, depending on how much privacy you actually want. In fact, let's bring the camera inside, it's probably a bit easier. So one thing that's also quite nice as well is you've got, obviously, a sewn-in ground sheet in this point. There's also a ground sheet that's pre-attached into this section here. So you've got a little bit of a gap between there, so almost somewhere you can lean off the back of. If you don't want this bit here as a bit of a mud trap, just fold it underneath the awning itself, and that again is a nice little extra. Again, height internally is quite decent in here, depending on obviously what you've got in terms of your vehicle. The fixation points, so we've got that mid strap located there, and there's obviously one a bit further along the vehicle. And then we've got a door kind of either side of the entrance, so you can kind of come and go as you please. And there's also a little buckle down at the bottom to keep it in place when it's under a bit more tension. Windows, and obviously the front and the side, works really nicely, so you get a great view around the site. A big ventilation point at the top to allow airflow. You've also got a hanging point here for a lantern, as well as little tabs for a Velcro, so it means that your cable can run down nice and smoothly. But yeah, I think it's quite a nice little model. Works quite nicely, and I said when you've got a barn door, you can just bring it a bit further back. When you've got like a normal tail lift in here, you can see really from the height of it, you want to be careful it's not going to scrape too much. Admittedly, my roof rack kind of helps me out there, but when you're a bit more lower, it's definitely something to consider. As we kind of come out of the awning, we kind of go around, gives you a bit more of an idea about the other side of it. Like I said, you've got kind of that same back panel, and it goes from sort of left to right again, so it's blank on the one side, window on the other. But all in all, I think, you know, it's quite a nice little model. The probably nearest thing in comparison to this model will be something like the Van Gogh tailgate. So the Van Gogh tailgate is a very similar kind of ilk. In terms of probably the fit, it's going to fit a little bit sharper for those smaller models, just because it does from 180 to 210, whereas this obviously goes at 240. So the tunnel section will look a bit smarter on that, I would say. But then this has got obviously more scope to higher. Plus you've got the brow pole, which you don't necessarily have with the tailgate. So there's all these little configurations to think about, as well as, you know, what's going on as well. But for more information on the basically the Cayman tail, you can check the link below the video. It'll take you straight through to the website. We've got all the information located there. Everything bullet pointed down as well, from pack sizes, pack weights, floor dimensions, overall sizes, the price, as well as bundle deals, and also across the other videos we've got related to this product as well. But by all means, have a look at our pitching and packing video on this as well, to show you how simple it really is to pitch, and the joys of taking it away for a smaller period of time. But yeah, that in essence is kind of our little video review on the Outdoor Rev Cayman tail, F/G, or in brackets I'm going to put Pold. But yeah, let us know by all means what you think as well. So hope to see you again, and hopefully if you've got any more comments or questions, feel free to let us know.